a modern podcast where Chris and Mike talk about TV, movies, superheroes, and everything in between. It's time for Superhero Slate.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Superhero Slate, the show where we run down the latest superhero entertainment news.
We love TV, movies, and superheroes, so let's talk it all out.
My name's Chris Dillard.
And my name's Mike Royer.
And on today's show, we talk about Age of Ultron, Batman's Arkham Knight, Supergirl's TV show, Ducktales Return, and more.
Woo! It's raining outside. We need it.
It's raining?
Southern California needs as much rain as it possibly can. But we have no infrastructure for funneling this rain anywhere, so it just piles up. We lose lanes on the road due to water. Like our bike lanes turn into canoe lanes pretty quickly.
So I mean, would you still bike to work in the rain?
I mean, when I was biking to work, it only rained, I think, on those 2 years that I biked to work, it rained twice. So I never really had to come up with any solid plans to avoid the rain.
So if it did rain, what was your backup plan?
It was to cross my fingers that it would stop raining or just show up to work really wet.
Oh,
I didn't think you don't need to think ahead too often down here when it comes to weather. But when the weather does start to rain, you just kind of get really confused and you don't know what to do.
It sounds like a lot like snow in Texas that happened this week, where everything just kind of shut down. We got a half inch of snow. Everybody go home.
Yeah, we're big old babies out here. We're babied when it comes to the weather.
Nah, it's all right. It was raining here earlier, kind of, but it's the snow's also melting / ice. So,
man.
Oh well. Weather is what weather is.
Oh.
You know what? You know what? It doesn't stop.
What?
Our podcast.
Oh, that's quite a segue. That's a good enough segue.
It is right into the news segment of the week.
Yeah.
Biggest thing. I think we have most updates out of this next topic.
Yeah, probably.
So, Age of Ultron released a new poster this week.
Yeah, yes, it is, and this is kind of getting towards the end of, I want to say the end of their marketing cycle. They're starting to get relatively close to the movie where they're kind of running out of new things. You know, I've seen that they're starting to post up some TV spots. I haven't seen them yet, and
Yeah.
I usually don't watch the TV spots. And you know, they're putting out these final posters and everything. You know, they're getting ready to go.
Yeah, once you start seeing TV spots, that's the time to start turning the other way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, the first TV spot, I didn't watch it either, but it has zero new footage in it, thankfully.
Oh, okay.
That's what I was reading about. But when they unveiled this poster, and honestly, I'm not that impressed.
Well, I think if it's anything, it's consistent with the first Avengers poster when it comes to style.
Yes.
It's kind of excessively, I don't want to say excessively photoshopped, but it's kind of like this weird mesh between almost like someone staging for a painting / it's just highly retouched photos. So it's just a combination of things. I mean, it's probably not the best poster out there.
No, it's definitely not. And that's the thing with the Marvel Avengers. They don't need the best poster. I think the name Marvel sells the movie more so than this. And they can do this. But what's really interesting is there's 10 Avengers on it, okay? Mm-hmm. They've crammed 10 people into this poster, and we still barely see the Vision.
Yeah, I think this poster is more of a... I mean, I guess all movie posters are for marketing purposes, but this is just how many celebrity faces can we get on this poster to make our movie look as amazing as possible?
Yeah.
So it's doing it what its purpose is, so that's good. But I think the most important thing is if this is probably the final poster that we're getting, and as we have seen from the following updates, is we've also gotten individual character posters off the same vein of this poster this week. And we haven't seen Captain America yet. We haven't seen the Vision yet. We haven't seen, Quicksilver?
It's Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch didn't get theirs yet either.
Yeah, so I would imagine that those would probably pop up this coming week. But I have come up with a theory that we are not going to see the Vision revealed until the movie. Yeah. Until we're actually in the theater.
I think I mildly agree with you, but the TV spots, TV spot number 9 and 10, will show them. Because I think those are the ones that come out the week before the movie or the week of the movie. And those are gonna push the people who are on the fence over.
Yeah, but the only thing about that is like how the people that are on the fence about this movie, I don't think the Vision is going to be a character because they're not even going to know who the Vision is. That might push them over the edge.
No, but I think his fight scenes with the other Avengers are what's going to be like really, really intense. And I think, like it happened with Avengers 1. They didn't show a lot of the Captain America versus Iron Man versus Thor scene until that movie, like the week of.
Yeah. So I guess this is just a good opportunity to tell everyone, just like avoid the TV spots if you can. I mean, that is the point in the marketing where they're really trying to push people into the theater. So they'll kind of just start pushing stuff out there that, maybe you could probably just wait to see in the theater.
Yeah.
I think they'll say, like, I actually think it would be really cool because they've been doing like a really deliberate job to obscure the Vision from all of the marketing materials, all of the posters, all of the trailers. I mean, I don't even think we've seen like a glimpse of his cape or the back of his arm off frame in any of the trailers. I think we'll see him when it comes to the movie.
Yeah, and I've seen a lot more promotional materials show him, like, unofficial, but, like, other things coming in, like the fat heads and, like, the mugs and all that other stuff. And that'll be, again, like you said, at release. But at the same time, we talked about Photoshop on this poster. That didn't stop people from making fun of it. David Aja, I think that's his name, Aja. He's Hispanic, so I know that J is probably, an AI. But he said he put a picture up online saying, Adobe Photoshop, sorry, a serious error has been detected. No more Photoshop is allowed in this picture.
Yeah, and I think you can definitely get that out of this one. And also the first Avengers poster. Well, I think, I don't know, maybe it's just whoever they have running their art department over there just has this consistent style going.
Yeah, I definitely think they outsource it, but it's funny, David A. he did the Matt Fraction Hawkeye run. So he's even, Marvel's paying him, and he's still like, ha ha ha, quit photoshopping. But something else about this poster on the bottom, it confirms that, Anthony Mackie will return as the Falcon. We all knew Maria Hill was going to be in it. We can't get rid of Kobe Smulders. She doesn't really have anything else going on either after How I Met Your Mother ended.
Yeah.
Heimdall and Agent Carter will be in it. So
yeah, and that'll be interesting. I mean, we saw a little bit of Agent Carter in Winter Soldier. She was obviously old. She seemed to have like dementia, Alzheimer's, very short-term memory. She was aging. So it makes you wonder, like, if she's just going to play another really small role, like basically just another visit to her bedroom.
I'm pulling for flashback on this one. But at the same time, I just want to point out that we talked about character posters. The Avengers, Coulson wasn't on the main poster, and neither was Maria Hill, but they got their own character posters later. I can see these guys getting character posters. As well, because, like, they're not going to do it until, like, again, like we see, up until like closer to release, probably April. And honestly, it's hard to believe it is 2 months from tomorrow when this movie releases.
Oh man, it's just, I just get excited when I start thinking about it. It's getting so close. That's only like 8 weeks away. That's like 4 paychecks away. Usually,
that is a great idea. How many paychecks till Ultron?
Yeah, I measure everything in paychecks now. So, yeah, I think we're getting near. Like, we're getting to a point where they're not going to be giving us too much more information, and we're not going to get the huge dump until we actually see the movie.
See, I'm still pulling for one more trailer. One more trailer. I don't know if we're going to watch it or not, but I'm feeling one more trailer before all the TV spots hit. But on the other side, I kind of want to see what other countries get. Germany got an alternate poster of the Avengers poster.
Oh yeah, they swapped the position of Captain America with Iron Man, right? Yeah,
Iron Man is at the forefront and Captain America is behind him. I mean, again, that's a quick Photoshop tweak, if anything. But it's definitely interesting to see what characters they use to get these international audiences. And if you look at the poster, there are no Ultron drones in the background either. They cut out all the Ultron drones from that picture. So,
yeah, it makes you wonder what kind of rationale is going over there with them.
and what's even funnier is the poster's not even in German. So I don't even know what to think about that. But we're gonna put these links in our notes so you guys can take a look at all these posters.
Yeah, lots of images that are accompanying this section of news. That might make it kind of hard to keep up with.
Yeah, definitely. And just to move on to the next one, there was an Iron Man poster released. Not a character poster, but like just an Iron Man mask. And the other half is him turning into Ultron through like a crack in his mask. And I kind of want to know if that has something to do with it, or that's just, to show that he's like a flawed robot.
Yeah, I think anything that puts Iron Man in the forefront of this movie is just good when it comes to getting people to see it. Everyone loves Robert Downey Jr., so any connection with Iron Man stronger to the movie is going to make people a little bit more excited.
Yeah, it definitely got me excited for that.
Yeah, but man, that a lot of news coming out of just a couple posters.
It really is. And lastly, we're going to go back to those character posters. The first character poster to come out was from Robert Downey Jr., right? And he put it on his Twitter. He was allowed to do it on his Twitter. And it says on the DL, which is down low for you layman folk, there's a big announcement in 8 days. And that was on the 25th of February. So that means coming up here, I think Thursday, Tuesday, or Wednesday or Thursday, there's a big announcement, most likely Marvel related. What do you think of this, Mike?
I mean, it's hard to tell because if it's an announcement, you think it's going to be something beyond just like a trailer. They're not just going to release like another poster or a trailer or something like that. I would think maybe some sort of like casting information.
See, you're right on the ball. I think they're going to announce Spider-Man's casting on Wednesday.
Oh, yeah?
Because my rationale is here, Civil War comes out in practically 13 months, 14 months. They're going to need to have him cast for that movie's production coming up very, very soon. And
yeah, I just saw...
What better way to do it?
Yeah, I just saw something recently online which might be an interesting idea. I can't take credit for the idea. I think I just saw it in a link somewhere. It said, wouldn't it be interesting if Spider-Man reveals his secret identity in Civil War, and that's when we first get the casting revealed. So like so none of us know who Spider-Man's going to be until we actually see the actor's face. I think it's a cute idea. I don't think it's going to happen, just because I don't know if they're going to do secret identities that big of a deal. But
I don't think we live in a world where there are people leaking information left and right, and to keep that under wraps for that long would be a tremendous feat in and of itself. But at the same time, we're a podcast based on this kind of news. Like we're scouring the internet looking for this information. I just don't think that would be possible.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if anything like that would be possible. But I'm always excited when I hear news is going to drop. I mean, I don't know. Who knows if Robert Downey Jr. is just trying to start a hype train for something that's not that important. But I mean, if he's hyping it, it's got to be about the movies.
Yeah, so, Marvel, either way, they're always about the hype. Loving that hype. They're going to ride that train out. I'm ready for it. Avengers, 2 months.
Yeah, us nerds just want our movie already.
Yeah, also, I kind of want to throw this in here as a plug, so pardon me for a second. ComicUI, I'm doing a countdown to Age of Ultron. Every week, we watch one Marvel Cinematic Universe movie, starting with Iron Man, all the way to Age of Ultron in order of release. So far, I've gone through Iron Man and the Incredible Hulk, and I'm live tweeting during these movies. So if you want some entertainment at 8 p.m. Eastern on Friday nights, follow me on Twitter because you're going to get the ride of your life.
Man, it sounds thrilling.
Oh my gosh. The Incredible Hulk I was having too much fun with it. And Iron Man 2 I'm probably going to have at the expense of that movie as well.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll have to tune into that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting for your ride home. That's for sure.
Well, speaking of writing, No, this is gonna
No,
be a
that's
bad
horrible.
segue.
Yeah,
I was gonna do something with Batman riding in the Batmobile.
We're just gonna jump right into this. How about this? You've already started. You've already said Batman. So
Yeah.
Batman has a new video game coming out.
Yeah, he does.
It's technically the fourth game in the Arkham trilogy, but technically the last one was like Black Side Origins or something like that, which was not even like related to the trilogy. So we have Batman Arkham Asylum, Batman Arkham City, and this one's Batman Arkham Knight with a K. The game's only for next generation consoles, so Xbox One, PS4, and it was rated M for mature, which is like the first for this series.
Oh wow.
Which is kind of crazy because Batman doesn't kill, so why is this rated M for mature?
Well, someone's killing. Well, either way, I've heard these Batman games made by, I believe it's Rocksteady Studio.
Yeah.
Are really good games. I had a chance to play one for a little bit, and I wouldn't disagree. I'd say it is a very good game. I just never had time to play them. There's so many video games out there. There's so much media vying for my attention. I just haven't had time to put this into any sort of rotation. But with the trailer coming out, I always like watching the trailers because it's always really cinematic. And whatever they're doing over there, they're doing a really good job just making things look awesome. It kind of makes you hope that you could one day maybe see a Batman movie like these trailers.
Yeah, I have played both games, Batman Arkham Asylum and Arkham City. Arkham Asylum is fantastic. I love Arkham Asylum more than I could probably love most other DC properties. And people know me, I'm a Marvel guy, but I will play these Batman games simply because, they're good. I'm not going to deny something because it's good. And the combat in it is awesome. The gadgetry Batman has is awesome. And they only upgrade it to the next one. So this one you actually get to drive the Batmobile around, like you were trying to say, and use it for like attacks and stuff. But I think the coolest thing out of that trailer is the Scarecrow. Their take on the Scarecrow in this version.
Oh yeah, and this probably ties in with the rated M for mature. He just looks like a nightmare, literally.
Yeah, he's in our featured image for the show, and I thought it was actually a zombie from The Walking Dead. Because he just looks so grotesque with that mask and, playing off of the fact, like Scarecrow is a man of nightmares. So I think you said it best. He looks like a nightmare.
Yeah. Well, I think this is just an interesting thing to talk about when you think about the DC universe when it comes to media properties and Marvel. Like, Marvel has hit the movies with a home run easily. We could all say that. But, you can't say the same thing for DC, but DC has spread into other avenues that probably other people don't really realize that are making really good content. So, first of all, these Batman games are great, have won awards, and we've also had awesome animated movies, and they're not just for kids. Like, they've had, more mature rated, animated films before. The Batman Superman movie that's coming out has basically already been adapted into an animated film that's really good. It's 2 parts.
Yeah, I think it's a Dark Knight Returns comic is what that's taken from, and they actually did that. You're right. They put it right into the cartoon.
Yeah, so I think it's interesting to note, some people out there might think DC's not doing a very good job, or they're not adapting their heroes well. But I mean, they are adapting them well in other avenues. So, especially when it comes to the TV series Arrow and Flash that they got going. So I think people need to look outside of the movies if they want to experience superheroes in different lights, and this game is a perfect way to do that.
Yeah, especially like comic books, because that's where they come from.
Yeah.
So, we'll have a link to the trailer so you guys can watch it and see how creepy Scarecrow looks.
Yeah.
So, next up, we got some more casting news here. Ben Hardy joins the X-Men Apocalypse.
Yeah. Don't worry. I didn't know who he was, and probably anyone listening doesn't know who he is.
I didn't know who he was, so we had to look this guy up. He looks like he could play Angel. Like, he's a pretty boy kid with blonde hair. But they're saying he's supposed to play a secret, undisclosed role in the film. Not Angel, but that could probably be Angel.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible. I mean, Angel, he was always in the original X-Men from the very beginning. And, since they're kind of approaching the X-Men kind of with a fresh restart, it would kind of make sense for Angel to show up.
Well, more so is Angel becomes one of the Horsemen of the Apocalypse. And he gets metal wings and becomes Archangel.
Yep, and we're also, having Gambit in there,
I could definitely see them using that as well.
So I think... Yeah, I think Angel could possibly be a possibility with this character.
Yeah. Even if they deny it, I think I'm still gonna lean Angel. Yeah. Like he's not Angel, he's Archangel. Oh, semantics.
But I'm sure some people out there might know who Ben Hardy is from some things. I certainly didn't know who he was, but as I always say, there's nothing wrong with getting unknown actors to play roles because you never know what unknown actor out there is like the perfect casting role isn't gonna embody the character perfectly. So, no reason to be worried that we don't know who he is.
Yeah, I think the less we know, the better we are going into this. And something to touch on you said earlier is they're casting really young for this movie, and that's because these new people we're going to see are probably locked into a 3-movie contract, maybe 4 because I don't think this one would count as their first movie. Because it's the end of the other trilogy, but we're going to be seeing them probably play X-Men for the next 6 to 7, possibly 8 years.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
so,
you said
cross fingers that
3 movies.
I'm guessing 3 movies. With
I mean that's
Apocalypse being 4.
Least, I mean that's at least 2 years per production. So yeah, they'll definitely be aging into these characters. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm totally fine with that actually. So
yeah.
Knock on wood. There. Hello, X-Men.
Oh gosh, we gotta. I think we need to just sit down one day and just workshop our segues and our ending of our segments.
Yeah,
and
we can or just not care.
Yeah, come up with the cream of the crop. I don't know. Maybe you guys like it out there when we sound like fools. Maybe it makes us more likable, more human.
Yeah, I think it's that idiot charm that we exude.
All right. So, well, I'll embrace it.
Yeah, so embrace it we will as we talk about the Agent Carter finale.
Oh, man. 8 episodes.
That went by quicker than I expected.
We're already talking about the ending. I think... wow. So, yeah, there was 8 episodes. Our show is on episode 8. I feel like this is perfect timing.
Yeah. Honestly, I think, what it did for me more than anything was make sure my time in between S.H.I.E.L.D. was not full or not empty of me wishing there was S.H.I.E.L.D. I still wish there was, but it kept me interested in something else. And honestly, by the end of the series, it had taken me in a place I didn't think they'd take Agent Carter.
All right, well, do this for me. Give me your, I guess, obviously spoiler-free, just review of the first season. Just, how do you think it went? Do you think it has a future?
Okay, so Agent Carter, to me, was telling the story. How does Peggy Carter pick up her life post Captain America in a world that looks down on women? And it kind of partners her up with Jarvis for a few episodes, and I expected to see this team up kind of go along the way, them taking down the bad guys, always being one step ahead of everybody. But it throws a new twist in there with Russians and the early Black Widow program. And I wouldn't say so much Hydra even, the fact that it was Leviathan and not Hydra as another level of there's not just 2 organizations in the world to this. And then by the end, it took her, through hell and back. She lost people she cared about. They lost, they wasn't afraid to kill people off. And by the end, she has redeemed herself, but she's still in that world where she's not treated as the hero, but she's okay with that. And I see this getting a second season, yes, simply because I think Marvel wants to build or fill in that backspace between Captain America and where Iron Man 1 picked up. And they're doing so with Agent Carter, they're going to be doing more so with Ant-Man. So I think they're going to shoot for a season 2 that takes place a little later down the road for her, I think. That's my guess. And I honestly recommend the show to anyone who can get their hands on it.
Yeah, I mean, For me, I think the thing that helped this show the most was definitely the runtime. When it comes to 8 episodes, it was very condensed. They knew exactly what story they wanted to tell. They didn't have to stretch any of it. No episode felt like a filler episode or felt like a one-off. Everything was just a nice, continuous story. I think Peggy Carter is just a great character. I still don't think we have quite reached the pinnacle of superhero television yet. I know we got a lot of stuff coming in the future, so that's great. I'm waiting to see how this thing gets elevated. I think it's better than S.H.I.E.L.D. by a long shot, and I think it's going to be really cool to see it. I don't know if they're planning in the future just to show just Agent Carter in between mid-season for S.H.I.E.L.D. or if it's going to get a longer season, but I kind of like these little 8-episode chunks. I think they work really well for the story.
No, I agree with you. I think a miniseries is what Agent Carter needed. I don't think she can hold a whole series, like a full 22-episode season by herself. And it's not just her, it's just you're looking at production cost, and it's not getting the best view count in the world. And that's because it was football season. 2 times out of 8 weeks, my showing of Agent Carter on ABC was interrupted by AAC or basketball. And nothing's more frustrating than tuning in weekly to find that we're going to show a basketball game tonight instead of your regularly scheduled programming.
Yeah,
and
I mean
it was awful.
Yeah, I mean that's not going to help with ratings at all. Which hopefully in the future won't even be an issue when everyone's just watching everything online. But yeah, I think we'll definitely be getting a second season for sure. I would just be more curious if they're going to expand on it, do more of a proper 13-episode season, and maybe they'll position it maybe in the summertime or something like that.
Yeah, we'll cross our fingers and see when they announce that, probably towards the end of renewal season. Yeah,
but I mean, I think talking about superhero TV shows transitioned us well into our next bit of news.
Yes.
Hey, that wasn't bad. That was pretty good.
That wasn't bad. While we're on the topic of superhero TV news, next month, I guess it's this month. Damn, it's March 1st. Powers, we talked about a little bit. A book written by Brian Michael Bendis. It's his own thing. It's being made to a 10-episode TV show released on the PlayStation Network. He went to Twitter and released a new TV spot for it.
Yeah, it's basically a little tiny teaser trailer.
Yeah, so it's got the main character on a rooftop, and he's the voiceover with him talking about, who kind of watches the superheroes. And as it spins around him, you see superheroes in the background fighting in the air and flying around. And in his shadow is him with the cape on, saying that maybe he's the real hero compared to the super powered people in this world. So what did you think of it?
Well, I mean, I think if we're talking just about the vibe of it, it felt like something that doesn't tell me what the vibe of the show is going to be like. Because I feel like it just feels very trailery. It feels very teasery. I don't feel like I can pull much about the show out of it. But one thing that kind of makes me curious is how much actual superhero, superpower stuff we'll see. Because, if the story is kind of comparable a little bit to a S.H.I.E.L.D. type of organization, regular people, regular detectives, trying to deal with the superheroes, I'll be curious how much actual superhero we actually get, and I think that ties in a lot to, this is on PlayStation, it's a PlayStation exclusive. How many people are actually going to be able to see this? Because it's obviously not going to be anywhere else except for the PlayStation Network, at least for now. So how much budget did this show actually get? How much effort are they actually putting into it? Is this just a big trial run to see if they want to be making more series in the future? It just makes me wonder if this is more of an experiment or they're actually putting effort behind it.
So let me touch a little bit on that first part. To me, the vibe of the trailer is that of a noir type television show. Because in noir, you get, the voiceovers and the guy kind of looking stoic and disgruntled by what's going on. And that's kind of what we got. And having been familiar with the series, they are in a world that is overpopulated by superheroes and supervillains. More so than the Marvel universe is. They acknowledge them, they happen, they have goofy names. and they will definitely be dealing with superpowered people on a daily basis. Like, it's not going to be S.H.I.E.L.D., like them chasing down supposedly this short list of people who have superpowers.
Well, yeah.
But again, I think you're right, as it is an experiment for Sony, because I can't get PlayStation. I don't have a PlayStation to watch it on. Do you?
No.
Do you want to watch? Do you want to watch the show?
Yeah, and I mean, I think I will be able to find a way to watch it because, I mean, I have to watch it. I mean, we got to see what this is about, so I'll find a way. But, I mean, there's some people out there, they're sitting down there at their Xbox One, they don't have a PlayStation, maybe they just don't want to go to all the effort to try to track down these episodes or when they're going to possibly air. But I think one thing that's kind of curious, if it is on the PlayStation Network, it makes you wonder how much that ties into Sony Entertainment. How much, we've been seeing this craziness with Sony trying to deal with their superhero properties. Is PlayStation basically an arm of Sony going to be able to handle like production of entertainment? Who knows?
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be an experiment all around. And it's going to be associated with Sony, which is going to put it in with Sony Entertainment. However, this is tied directly into PlayStation Network. So we've not really seen, like, it's Sony Pictures Television, but it's distributed by PlayStation Network. I don't know. I'm an Xbox guy. I have an Xbox One. I've not seen any advertisement for this show other than online when I look for it. And I'm like you said, we're gonna find it, we're gonna watch it, but we're not buying PlayStations to do it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a cool experiment if it works, but I don't know if I like the idea of exclusive content tied to a console. I think that's just asking for people not to watch it.
Yeah. So, just a tidbit about this before we jump on to the next topic. This was actually supposed to be an FX TV show. Oh,
yeah, I could kind of see that vibe.
And it was they started doing this in 2011, July 2011.
Oh, wow.
And that's when the first pilot was kind of aimed for. And they were supposed to talk about, reshooting it and more scripts and stuff like that. And then that's when PlayStation Network kind of scooped it up. So, again, interesting stuff. I can't wait to watch it on March 10th. And it's weekly, so...
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be a mixed bag, but we'll watch it and we'll let you guys know if you should go to the effort of hunting it down.
Yeah. Things I like to hunt, ducks.
Oh, gosh.
Next up, we're going to talk about the Ducktales animated series.
Yeah, you're going to have to tell me a little bit about this because I didn't hear an inkling of this in the news last week, so lay it on me.
This was actually pretty big. I woke up one morning and found this pretty big. Ducktales, the cartoon show, you've probably watched it when you were younger on Disney.
Oh. DuckTales, woo! Yes.
There we go. See, you already know the theme song. And it had a game that was recently remade for the Wii U and HD. So they're giving a brand new DuckTales animated series to launch in 2017 on Disney XD.
Yeah, so this is like a ragtag group of little creatures. It's like the Avengers, but they live in a tree. And they're like detectives and stuff like that.
No. You're thinking of Chippendale Rescue Rangers.
Oh no! I am thinking of that. Wait, DuckTales.
Yeah, it had Scrooge McDuck and the three nephews.
Yeah, that's right. Oh, wow. Yeah, I totally was thinking of a different 90s. Okay.
It's all right. They all blend together, too. They're all talking animals and...
Yeah, now I got to change my perspective. Okay. No, this is about a rich 1%er duck with his rich, spoiled children.
Yes. So we have Uncle Scrooge McDuck, which we know of, Huey, Dewey, and Louie, the nephews. It will also include appearances by Donald Duck and include other familiar faces. Now, this is where I get really excited by Launchpad McQuack, Flintheart Glomgold, and the Beagle Boys.
Oh, man. There's no one else out there right now that's probably more excited than you are right now.
If I had a nickel... for every time I got excited about Launchpad McQuack, I'd have a nickel. No, I remember watching a lot of this growing up. One of the first books I ever read when I was learning to read was a DuckTales book, so it holds a special place in my heart. Yeah, well, man, I guess
Disney XD's got a lot of stuff on it. I mean, they host a lot of the Marvel animated TV series and bringing on DuckTales. Maybe this will be the return of the Saturday morning cartoon shows.
Yeah, we will Have to see in 2017 if we can wait that long.
Man, they must think there's a lot of hype out there for this if they need to drop this 2 years ahead of time. We gotta let the people know.
Yeah.
The people out there are clamoring for DuckTales. We must cleanse,
we don't want them to forget. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Never forget DuckTales.
Well, I'm so glad you brought this to my attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of 90s things are coming back into style, such as the Power Rangers.
Well, I think we need to see more Power Rangers stuff. So, how can we see more Power Rangers stuff?
Well, there was recently a fan. It's been called a reboot. I'm not calling it a reboot. It's a fan film called Power/Rangers, and it's a dark, R-rated, brutal 14-minute fan film that was put online this week. Gained a lot of attention.
Oh yeah, I mean, it was kind of one of them. I don't want to say slow burn because it didn't take months, but the first day it was published, I think it was around like maybe to 40,000 views. I went back and I checked on it, and I think it was around like 1 million. And then I went back and checked on it today, like nearly like maybe like 4 or 5 days later, maybe close to a week. But it's like over 11 million views right now.
And see, that's funny because there's two versions out there. There's a not rated version, like an NC-17 style version, and an edited version that's on YouTube. The non-rated was on Vimeo, and Lord knows there has been some conversation about this Vimeo issue all week long.
Oh, well, tell me about that, because I never checked out the Vimeo video.
So the first one I saw was Vimeo. It replaces some of the stuff, like the Black Power Ranger. He's in bed when it first shows him, right, with those girls in like their underwear. In the Vimeo version, they're completely naked.
Okay.
There's more cussing, there's more blood. Like it's you know, it's kind of like watching a TV version if you watch the YouTube version.
Yeah, it's just like a little bit more brutal.
Yeah, so Vimeo ended up taking it down.
Oh, wow.
Because of some claims by Saban, who owns the Power Rangers stuff, right? But the producer, Aditya Shankar, who we're going to refer to as Shankar from now on because we can't get his name right to save our lives, he fired back at them, you know, saying that this is a fan film, this is not for money. Like, a long list of, you know, fair use reasons, and this went on for like 4 or 5 days, and Saban said they were going to bring a lawsuit to him. They eventually worked it out. It's now back up. Everything's golden. But it was an interesting ride for this thing on why it became so popular.
Yeah, and I think Shankar is definitely used to all this because he's kind of creating what he calls a little bootleg universe when it comes to these heroes. He's made a little short film about Eddie Brock and Venom. It's all in black and white. Really, really cool. They kind of downplay the whole Venom thing until towards the end of the video, but it's another short film, like in a different universe. He's got a bootleg little animated series when it comes to Dredd. And I don't know if you guys know this, but Shankar was a producer on the recent Dredd movie that came out. That was a sleeper. It's a bit of a sleeper movie. Everyone says that they want a sequel, but you know, it just didn't do too well at the box office.
I like that movie. I'm going to be honest with you. I love that movie, Dredd.
Yeah, but I think his greatest bootleg one that I'm kind of burying the lead here is one of his first ones that came out called Dirty Laundry.
Yes.
And I want to hear you talk about that because I think you were probably the one that brought it to me first.
Yes. 2012 Comic-Con, San Diego Comic-Con. I think, was that the year you went, was 2012? Yeah, I remember sitting at home. I was at my parents' house and I just got out of college. And I was, you know, following it online. And next thing you know, I say, oh, there's a new Punisher video. It's about 10 minutes long. I'm like, oh great, I'll watch it. So you watch it, and it's about the Punisher, Frank Castle, doing his laundry in a very very shady part of town. And you know, like there's this woman who gets smacked, this kid who's gonna get, you know, stabbed for not running drugs for this local gang, and Frank Castle, he kind of turns a blind eye to it. You know, he doesn't want to get involved, but he ends up, you know, going across the store to this liquor store, and there sits, I can't think of the guy who played Hellboy, Ron Perlman, and they have a conversation about this. So he buys this bottle of Jack, comes out, and it's actually Thomas Jane playing the Punisher, and you don't know this until the end. There's no sign of the Punisher until the very end.
Yeah, and I think that's that's the coolest thing about it is like I went and looked at some of the info. Like I dug in a lot to see what this was all about, and it was basically he was just like, I loved the Punisher franchise. Like I wanted to be attached to it again, and it's nice to see someone trying to make it right. So I mean, I was surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if after the short film came out that he was approached by some people. I don't know who owned Punisher at the time that came out, but I wouldn't be surprised if he was approached by someone to possibly look into rebooting Punisher again.
Definitely. And here's my take on the Punisher films. The 1990s Punisher with Dolph Lundgren, it's not the Punisher. Forget that movie. It never happened. The Thomas Jane Punisher, it is a good movie, but he is not the Punisher. It is way too tame to be the Punisher. He's very, very nice about some things. Punisher Warzone is the Punisher, but it's not a very good movie. I would like to see Thomas Jane portray that version of the Punisher, which is what we got in Dirty Laundry. Because when he walks out with that bottle of Jack or Jim or whatever it was, what he does with that bottle alone is downright menacing and brutal, and I loved it.
Yeah, I mean,
loved it.
Yeah, we're definitely going to put a link to these bootleg universes in the show notes, so you definitely need to go check those out. But Adi Shankar, I think he /directs/produces some of these. I believe with the Power Ranger film, he just produced it. Someone else directed it, but he did direct the Punisher and the Eddie Brock Venom one. But you guys definitely need to go out and check these out. You can watch them all in like the span of like 30 minutes. They're really good. It's really interesting to see someone like who actually professionally works in the industry, basically making fan short films. And they're a delight to watch. So I would go watch them. It's basically going to be the best way you're ever going to see the Punisher. So
yeah, definitely for a while. So we'll, like I said, we'll include this in the notes. Watch them. Let us know what you think. So we're going to jump over to something more not bootleg. I don't know. So there's a new image for release, including the Master Chief from Halo. As anyone knows, I'm a huge Halo fan.
You are.
I've read all the books, played all the games. And the new image comes to us courtesy of Game Zone, and it looks like they're filming a new TV spot for Halo 5, which comes out this year. And it shows a Master Chief kind of at a monument, and I only want to bring this up because, they're coming out with a Halo TV series to coincide kind of with the Halo 5 release as well. And, it's kind of like when they start doing these productions for these video game movies, they don't really talk about them except for Assassin's Creed. And we kind of talked about Assassin's Creed being like the first true video game movie. And I kind of want to bring this up, like these TV spots, they put a lot of time and money into them, it looks like. But I kind of want to see what happens with this Halo 5 series that comes out later this year.
Yeah, well, one thing that I think I've noticed over the years, so Halo has basically been with us during our entire like adolescent lives, so we've been alive, and we've been keeping our ears held very closely for news of anything Halo all of our grade school lives, and going into college and everything. I think one thing that I've noticed is we're always getting these waves of things when it comes to Halo. So like the Halo game will be announced maybe a year up until it comes out. We get a lot of information. We get a lot of like little short films. We might get like a live action TV spot, or like a little movie like Forward Unto Dawn or something like that. So we get those little things, and then the game comes out, and then maybe for another year we get little things that trickle out. But I mean, there's a point, this low valley in between Halo games where nothing really comes out. They don't really seem to push on it much. Obviously they're developing the next game, so the developers and the studio is busy, but it kind of makes you wonder, is there any sort of longevity to like a Halo TV show or series? Are the fans going to drop off once they've beaten the campaign and have played like maybe a year of multiplayer? Do they just kind of drop out and don't really care about Halo until the next one's announced?
That's a good question. I watched, we talked about this before, and it comes out this month, as the not Forward Unto Dawn, that was another series, but the Halo kind of TV show that came out with the Halo Master Chief Collection.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't really that excited. It was produced by Ridley Scott. And the next TV show is produced by Steven Spielberg.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm honestly not that excited. I wish I could sell my excitement for a Halo TV show, but they've just shown not to really do groundbreaking things with the property in the live action format. And I'm worried that, we're just going to get something generic that's safe, that works, but isn't great. It'll be mediocre, but not amazing.
Yeah, I think when it comes down to the idea of just Halo, it's basically just like basically Marines fighting aliens. So you have to inject a lot of really interesting stuff in it. I mean, a lot of the aliens have a lot of crazy backstories, and you got some genetically modified humans and stuff like that. But I think it comes down to more of just the standard strategy of just making characters that people care about and want to watch, which is sometimes hard to do with someone like Master Chief, because we don't know anything about him yet. And I'm sure that they would never reveal his identity or his backstory in a TV show until they reveal it into a video game. So I feel like any media, any TV shows that we're going to get for Halo is just going to be about side characters that we might not care too much about and we might not put too much weight into.
Well, see, that's where I'm going to stop you, because I don't think you've played a lot of the games, have you?
I mean,
recently?
I've played a decent chunk, but I'm definitely nowhere near as close as you are.
Because, I mean, we all know the Master Chief's backstory. We know his name. We know where he comes from.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's not a mystery to anyone who's in the Halo lore. But I think you're right when you say, like, the Master Chief is a faceless character.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you apply yourself to him. That's why it's a first-person game. We hear him talk, but, we don't see his emotion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it would be hard to bring that to a TV show, so that's why they have to focus on the side characters.
Mm-hmm.
So, Halo 5 is coming out in November. That's my guess. We'll know more when E3 hits this summer.
Yeah, maybe by then they'll have that Master Chief collection fixed.
Oh my gosh, I doubt it. I don't want to talk about that. Just on to the next thing. All
right. We don't want to steam your broccoli too much.
Not today. So tonight, Walking Dead shows Sundays, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, Sunday nights.
I'm not a watcher, but The Walking Dead season 5, the one's currently going on, the last episode has been extended to 90 minutes. Yeah,
I mean, I'm excited for that. I think The Walking Dead is a very interesting show. It's a destroyer in the ratings. I mean, every once in a while I'll go on Wikipedia to check their ratings per episode. It's only been going up. They get over, I want to say, easily over 15 million viewers on some episodes. But it's pretty crazy how the quality of the show definitely dips and dives, depending if you're like in the mid-season, like a little bit of a slump. They're trying to arc back up to their next story. So it's kind of hard to recommend it to some people, because sometimes you want to be like, okay, the first season's really good. You're going to have to make it through part of the slower season. But I think anyone out there, the best way to watch it is like when it comes to Netflix, when you can just binge on it. All right, anyway, off topic, but the show's still good. There are 5 seasons in, the show's still decent. There's no reason you should be abandoning it. But I think a 90-minute finale is cool.
What do you think that brings to the show, adding an extra 30 minutes to the finale? Do you think it just drags it out, or are they trying to drag it out?
Well, one thing that I've noticed when it comes to
in that episode.
Yeah, I mean, one thing I've noticed when it comes to these finales is they really add a big... I want to say that they save a lot of their budget for these finales. So I think it would be really cool to see, maybe they're just going to blow lots of stuff up. Maybe they want to do a lot of zombie kills in the last episode. I mean, 90 minutes actually translates more to like 60 minutes, I think, of actual episode, because you only have 40 minutes normally on an episode.
Does the AMC have commercials?
Oh yeah, they have commercials.
Okay, see, I'm unaware, because AMC is a premium channel anyway, so that's why I was curious.
Well, I mean, AMC is pretty notorious for the length of the commercial breaks on The Walking Dead. Luckily, I don't subject myself to the commercials when it comes to The Walking Dead, but I've had to sit through a couple times watching it on regular broadcast, And, oh, man, the commercials just totally destroy the flow of the show. But anyway, that's besides the point. 90-minute finale, I'm totally fine with that. Bring it on. This second half of the season has been pretty good so far.
Do you think they'll kill off a character that is a main character that's been in the show for a very long time?
Oh, I mean, they do it all the time. There's a good point. If you're watching a mid-season finale, a season finale, or a season premiere or a mid-season premiere, basically any of the bookends of the seasons, more than likely you're going to be losing a character. And my wife, she reads the comics, so she knows a lot more about what's coming and what happens and kind of where the series eventually goes. And she's basically always kind of said that they're never really afraid to just dispatch a character. And if you watch the show, you easily they churn through a lot of characters. So, but it adds a little bit more weight to the show. You never really know who's going to be safe.
Okay, but I was just curious. I mean, I watched the show up to halfway through season 3 and died. I was pretty happy, and I figured that's a good place to quit.
That might be a spoiler. That might be a spoiler out there.
Oh well, sorry. Whoops.
Yeah. Well, we'll bleep it. I mean, obviously, we'll just bleep the character's name.
Yeah. So, anyways, Walking Dead, great, good stuff. So next up, we've got some more Fantastic Four images this week. Some unreleased ones that aren't, from the show or like the trailer. So, did you get a chance to look at those yet?
Yeah, I took a look at them. I would say they're pretty tame. We don't really see too much.
No, but there's one very interesting thing. I've forgotten about this every time we've talked about Fantastic Four. Tim Blake Nelson, you might know him from other superhero movies as the Incredible Hulk. He was Mr. Blue. He is actually Harvey Elder in the movie. Harvey Elder is known for becoming the Mole Man.
Oh.
And I forget every time that they have him set up to be the Mole Man in this movie. So is he the villain or is Dr. Doom the villain?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I know anything about the Mole Man, honestly. How would he work into this universe?
Well, honestly, I don't know because in the series he's just always like a short, gross little dude who goes underground and finds these things called moloids. They're like little henchmen. I don't know. They're like what is it? The little things that walk off the edges to their death. They had a video game.
Oh, lemmings.
Lemmings. They're kind of like lemmings, but they're like goblin lemmings. They do his bidding. And we've heard a lot about Doom and the controversy with Dr. Doom in this movie, but we've not seen him in the trailer, and we've actually seen now more of Harvey Elder than we have of Doom in any promotional material. So it kind of leaves us open, like, who really is the villain in this movie, or are they setting up for a future film like they did in The Incredible Hulk and just never used him? It's just a question that I didn't think about until these images came out, and we have the link so you can take a look at them on ComicUI, but that's just something I totally forgot about, and I wanted to bring up for this.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see what they do because everyone knows like Doctor Doom is the biggest part of the Fantastic Four universe. So obviously, if they're building a franchise, we're gonna have to be seeing other villains. So maybe this will just set up Doctor Doom, and he'll just kind of won't show up maybe till the end of the trilogy.
Yeah. And what's great about Doom is like I've read a lot of Fantastic Four comics lately, and he's there. He's a constant to the Fantastic Four because he's not necessarily evil. But his line of thinking is more for the ultimate, the means, or the end of makes the means all right, whatever that saying is. So I'm ready to see more Fantastic Four now after these images.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, this whole week has been full of news. So, I mean, just getting these little bits from the Fantastic Four is always good because, as we said before, we've kind of been railing on them. They haven't been giving us that much. So, it's a good thing that they're giving us a little bit.
Yes. So, we're going to jump through. We still got a lot of news to cover.
Yeah.
But I'm going to jump to the next part. This is something big for you because you have been preaching a comic series for the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks to me and on the show. And we got some big news on that today. I'm going to let you handle it.
All right, yeah, so the creator of the book that I love, Sex Criminals, which I brought up last week, Matt Fraction, he basically landed a deal with Universal to kind of start turning him and his wife's work into TV adaptions. So the first thing what was announced was a Sex Criminals TV series, which two reactions happen to a person who is a fan of Sex Criminals when you hear there's going to be a TV show. First, it's, oh, that's really, really cool. And the second thing is just like, whoa, wait a minute. How are they even going to show this stuff on TV? You know, it's kind of like when they said they were making a 50 Shades of Grey movie, or they're just like, so are they going to just put it up on Pornhub? How are they releasing that movie? I mean, obviously Sex Criminals isn't like that like dirty and stuff like that, but you know, most of the stuff is humor based when it comes to sex. But I mean, they show graphic stuff. There's lots of nudity, you know. They show I believe there's one one panel where they show some jizz frozen in the air. I mean, where do you put this on television without toning it down too much? I saw that Universal, I guess, is attached to NBC, so some people thought, like, you know, could come to NBC. I don't see that happening. I don't want that to happen. I've heard a little rumblings that sometimes Universal deals a little bit with Cinemax, and I know Cinemax has a couple original series that they've been working on, so it could work well over there, you know. I just think it comes down to who's going to be censoring my Sex Criminals TV show.
Yeah, I think whenever they say Universal TV, I don't think it'll be landing on public broadcast. I think it'll be probably, actually, I'm going to go lean towards digital before I lean towards Cinemax, kind of like all the other Marvel, like Netflix deals are kind of going down. Yeah,
it could. There's a possibility it could be Hulu.
Yeah, Hulu, I'm not even going to rule Netflix out, maybe Vudu even, as another thing, because, you know, it's just the popular trend. But what was interesting about this news to me is they created this company called Milk-Fed Criminal Masterminds. And they're going to help bring other comic creators' independent properties to the small screen as well. So this isn't just for them and their stuff. Like, they're working to help other people get their stuff made into adaptations as well. And that's awesome, like, in the comic community. Like, Matt Fraction and Kelly Sue DECONNICK, like, they do some great stuff. They're great people. I follow them on Twitter and Instagram. Like, they're funny as hell. And Matt Fraction is like one of my, if I ever became a writer, he would be my inspiration.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would love to see his work translated onto the screen.
Yeah, and he's just got that very unique sense of humor that you don't find anywhere else. And it's dark and it's funny and it's like in your face, real life kind of stuff. And I love it, and I want to see where this goes. I know it's just been announced, but let's get some more. Let's see what else they can do with this.
Yeah, but so out of all this news that we have left, we're gonna run pretty late on here. So I think we should run through these last couple items real quick, because I really want to hear your notes when it comes to our final update.
Okay, sounds good. So next up, Daredevil released some new images. You can find those on ComicUI. We'll link them here. Nothing really revealing, but if you want a closer look at Daredevil before his release, check it out there. They also revealed a motion poster, which is one of our title images. Pretty cool looking. Go ahead and describe that for us.
I mean, it just looks like he's going to embody the character perfectly. You know, I've been really getting into the comics I've been reading about Daredevil. Totally excited. I want to see this series.
Yes, and
super bad.
1 month and 9 days. So countdown.
Ooh, yep. We can get our Daredevil through us once I get my House of Cards through me, which should be soon.
Yes, and the rest of these things kind of don't have a lot of updates, but we're just going to go with them anyway. The Alien movie we talked about last week, Sigourney Weaver is coming back. They got her. Yeah. And it's going to kind of ignore Alien 3 and 4, whatever that fourth one was called, Resurrection. And kind of be like,
I think so.
It's not gonna blatantly ignore them, but this one's gonna follow 1 and 2 for the Neil Blomkamp, so that's great for people of the fans of the original Aliens. Speaking of old movies getting more sequels, Blade Runner out in the 80s. The sequel, Harrison Ford is coming back. Can't keep him out of anything anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think this will be pretty cool. I've said to you before, it's been a long time since I've seen this movie, and I've only seen it once, so I wish we could talk about it more, but I'll definitely have to rewatch it before we bring this back on the show, because I know a lot of science fiction fans out there love this movie, and I know a lot of inspiration is drawn from it, so it probably deserves a little bit more respect than the little glaze over that we'll be giving it, but let's just hope Ridley Scott is still involved, since it was his baby.
Yeah, I think he is. They have a director. His name's Denis Villeneuve. I don't know who that is.
Not ringing a bell over here.
Yeah, so they have a director, and Harrison Ford's coming back. So just wanted to throw that out there. Some people also might remember a 1980s movie called Red Sonja.
I don't.
I actually own it. It's got Bridget Nielsen as Red Sonja. It was part of the Conan universe of the 80s. Arnold Schwarzenegger, he's actually in the movie.
Oh, wow.
And Red Sonja is a comic property, and I think it's now at Marvel, or it was at Marvel, and now it's not. It got a writer in Christopher Cosmos, which is a hell of a name.
It's a pretty rad name.
It is a pretty rad name. Like, I wish my last name was Cosmos, because I'd be Christopher Cosmos. But here's a fun fact about him. He does not have a movie produced under his belt yet.
Well, I have to say, I don't think there's a lot of people out there too precious about this character. So I think a budding director might be okay.
well, he's a writer. I'm not going to cast him as a director yet, but
okay.
As a writer, let's hope he knows the stuff and gives us another Red Sonja movie that eventually does get made.
Yeah. Hey, we'll see.
It does. Now, I'm not a DC person, but the Supergirl TV show is getting a lot of traction lately for the pilot.
Yeah, I saw there's some casting news.
Yes, Helen Slater, the original Supergirl from the 1984 movie, is cast in it. And Dean Cain, the Superman from the 90s show, Lois and Clark, is in it as well. So they're starting to bring in these other Superman people into this show, not as their characters Superman and Supergirl, but, as like maybe her parents, probably.
Yeah, just little nods. I think it's fan service. I think it's always good when there's a little fan service tied into shows. It just means that the people there really care. Yeah,
it's like the Flash, the original Flash from the 90s show is actually Barry Allen's dad in the show now. So that's cool, which brings me to the next thing we're talking about. Arrow and Flash spinoff show. Woo!
Yeah, I mean, I think I can talk a little about this. So I think everyone's been kind of wondering what the next CW DC TV series is going to be from this Arrow Flash universe. I've been hearing most of the reports that say it's probably going to be an Atom TV series, which makes more sense because that's the character that's probably they've been developing the most and probably has the most star power behind it because Brandon Raw was Superman in Superman Returns. So, he's got a little bit more clout behind him. But I guess there's rumors of like a Firestorm show, Captain Cold show, and a Canary show.
Well, it's actually not that. It's actually all these people all these ancillary characters from Flash and Arrow are going to be in this other show. So,
they're just going to put them all in the same show.
Yeah, so we're going to see more of these people, like, what do they do outside of when they're dealing with the Flash and Arrow? Like, what other good/bad are they causing?
Yeah, it would have to be a condensed show because, I mean, I don't want to watch a Captain Cold series. I mean, the character has been working out pretty well in The Flash, but there's not enough there to give him his own series. But, if they throw them all together, maybe they can come up with something pretty cool.
Yeah, I think that's it. And I think, it's early talks. Because I think Supergirl will live in the Arrow Flash universe, maybe. I don't know. Like, there's just so many in production things. They got the Krypton TV show as well. Like, I don't know what's coming and going. But... I'm glad some of these characters aren't just one-offs. Like you said, they're good characters. They need more time. Let's put them in another show where they can stew around with each other.
Yeah, but I think the CW's been doing a pretty good job, so I shouldn't get too worried. I think whatever they make will be even better because the progression that they've been showing with these series has just been better. Arrow's good, Flash is even better than Arrow, so whatever comes after Flash, maybe it'll be even better than the Flash. That's awesome.
Yeah, good going DC.
Yeah, but I think before we head out, before we close the show, I really, really want to talk about this last thing.
All right, so I get home. I wasn't even home last night when you sent me this link. I was out at Red Lobster eating some fancy food.
Them Cheddar Bay biscuits.
Oh my gosh, those Cheddar Bay biscuits. So Mike sent me a link. Tell me about this link you sent me, and where did you find it?
I think it just popped up on... I'm pretty sure it was the Marvel subreddit or possibly the comic book subreddit. It's just a link to this little Tumblr page. I don't really know much about it, but just someone out there recut the third Spider-Man movie. It's called the Friendly Neighborhood Recut. he goes into a lot of detail on the specific Tumblr posting about what he did and why he did it. But he basically went at Spider-Man 3 just like the people that went at the original Star Wars prequels, where he's like, I want to take out the stuff that sucked and make this movie better. And I know you love jumping on stuff like this as quickly as possible. So I was just like, I have no time to watch this before we record the show. I'm going to send it over to him. Maybe he'll have a shot to watch it.
And I did. This morning I wasn't feeling too well, so I laid up on the couch and watched this. It's called Spider-Man 3, The Friendly Neighborhood Recut. And a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth from Spider-Man 3. And so, some of it is legitimate, and some of it's kind of just overblown compared to Spider-Man 1 and 2. And it's been a while since I've seen Spider-Man 3, but the things that stuck out to me, some were good, like Flint Marko. His purpose for his story, saving his daughter was good. But then we have, dancing Peter Parker and emo Peter Parker who hits his girlfriend. And it's just kind of depressing. Like, it's a very depressing movie. And it's famously known for a lot of studio intervention, shoving stuff in there. So I went and watched this Spider-Man Recut. First things first, it's 90 minutes long. Very, very short compared to the original Spider-Man 3. And I'm gonna grab. I wrote down notes as I watched this because I was I was kind of thrilled to see a different Spider-Man 3, and one that this isn't this isn't a fan trailer. This was someone who actually went through and edited out like an editor would. So I'm going to give you my list of my good things here. Okay, good. Venom actually would work really well as a horror film. In this, he's kind of scary. And, Peter Parker can't sense him with his spider senses. And it's great that Venom could be great as a horror film. It also removed a lot of the junk, such as the dancing Spider-Man, him hitting his girlfriend. A lot of, stuff that just drug on. I'm trying to think back, he went to the thing to learn about the Venom symbiote with Dr. Connors. It's cut out. It's not even there.
Yeah. You don't need it.
No. Take it out. It's gone. It's gone. Which resolved in a movie with a quicker pace. Each beat, it wasn't wasted. You didn't feel like I wasn't trying to look for things to do in between, scenes because, everything left in there was very to the point. Which also resulted in a shorter film, which I think, when people try to make longer movies, that they're not necessarily better. Sometimes you just need to have what's relevant to the film and character and just move the story along. Something that we talked about with Agent Carter. 8 episodes, nothing was wasted. They used every bit of their second that they had to get to the end. Let me something great about Spider-Man 3. The visuals are still good today as they were 7 years ago, 8 years ago.
Oh, excellent. That's good. As good as aging well.
9 years. Was it 06? I don't know. Whenever it came out, the visuals still fantastic. Probably the best Spider-Man visuals you'll see, even compared to Amazing Spider-Man.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Thomas Hayden Church as Flint Marko. That was a really inspired casting choice. I don't know. You might remember him from Wings. I think he was in Wings adaptation, but he's a great Flint Marko. Played very well, did a great job in the Recut as well. And they took out the love triangles.
Oh, good.
There is no more Gwen Stacy story. She's there, but it's not she's in love with Spider-Man and he's in love with her, and he's in love with Mary Jane, but she's in love with Harry, and then there's Eddie, and I'm confused already. They took it all out. So there's no stupid sappy emotional love triangles that make you feel bad about yourself.
Yeah, well, it sounds like this did a lot of good things. Is there anything that you can pull out of there that maybe wasn't so shining?
Funny story. That was the end of my good list. Now onto my bad list. They removed the Sandman's daughter, which was actually kind of sad because she's there for a split second, but there's one point in the film where he gets torn to pieces, and turned into sand. That was his transformation. And he willed himself back together out of love for his daughter to find an ability for her to live. And I'm really sad that was taken out because that was a really, really great character piece that was in Spider-Man 3 that I will always remember. Honestly, Venom just shouldn't have been included in the movie at all, and I blame Sony instead of this edit.
Yeah, you can only polish the turd so much.
Yeah, and
it's still gonna be what it was.
And that goes the same with Kirsten Dunst. Like, in this movie, it's like she doesn't care anymore. Like, at some point, she's trapped in a taxi on top of a construction site, and she doesn't look concerned at all. She's like, man, I'm here to make a paycheck. And she just, I don't know, she was very annoying. I don't know, I think nothing can be done about that. And lastly, you know, when you cut a movie like this that was done with a lot of extra footage and you're just removing footage, it kind of feels disjointed. And
that was going to be my biggest concern is, you know, even when it comes to fan edits, even if they're trying their best to tighten it up, it still doesn't feel quite right.
There are a couple things that are, in fact, questionable. Like, he added some fades to some scenes, and you can tell they're amateur fades because they're the standard, 4-second length, and they didn't adjust the darkness enough to make it look like it wasn't fan. But other than that, those were very, very few and far between. Not enough for me to knock against, like, I would give maybe half a point against the film, but not a whole point.
Yeah.
This guy, whoever it was on Tumblr, with this fan recut of this film, did a great job. I don't think I would buy it, but I don't think he should get editing in mainstream. But, you know, it's not a super sad movie anymore, and it felt like a Spider-Man movie.
Yeah, well, we'll link to the Tumblr post in the show notes. Who knows how long it's going to be up? You know, I'm sure Sony will want that taken down once they find out it exists. So I don't know, maybe we're shooting ourselves in the foot trying to share it. But we'll put the link up. You guys can watch it. You know, let us know what you think.
Yes. I would give this a better review than the theatrical version.
Hey, that's enough. That's enough for someone to watch it.
Yes. So before we do our plugs here, Mike, let's play Guess That Title.
Oh, yeah. What was the title again?
It's called No Alternative.
No Alternative. Oh, man. No Alternative. You know what? I don't know.
You don't even... Oh, man. It's from one of these bits of news, but there is a lot of news this week.
Yeah, I was scrolling back through them, and I was like, oh, I don't know.
So, with the Daredevil motion poster, they give us a line from the show saying that the evil that crowds Hell's Kitchen gives me no alternative.
Okay.
So, you're 0 for 2, man.
Oh, man. Well, it's okay. That's what makes it a game. If I always win, it's no fun.
Oh, yeah, it is. It's no fun at all. That's why I'm not gonna put that in there until the show and then just spring it on you when you least expect it.
Okay. Yeah, well, that just makes me even more excited because it just makes me sound like he's like, oh, I need an excuse to murder people.
Oh,
we're gonna start murdering people in the Marvel Universe, people, and you got to be prepared.
Oh dear, this sounds dangerous. I don't want no part of this. So, all right, Mike, where can we find you?
All right, well, you can follow me at Mike Royer Design on Instagram or on Twitter. You can check out some of my illustrations and comics over at Pickled Comics. Should be having a new one up this week, so check that out. Woo! Where can they find you, Chris?
You can find me at Valdan on Twitter. You can read my stuff on ComicUI.com or NerdTraffic.com, and that's a fact.
Yeah, tune in on, what did you say, Friday, so for you live tweeting the cinematic universe?
Yes, follow me at Valdan, V-A-L-D-A-N, on Twitter. I was going to do it through my account, because if I do it through my ComicUI account, it posts to Facebook, and Facebook just gets really mad with all those posts.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah.
So, just follow me at Valdan. We're going to be doing Iron Man 2 this week. I will probably be having a few drinks during it. It will be very entertaining.
Yeah, and of course make sure to go to superheroslate.com. That's where you're going to find all the links to all of our subscription outlets, to our Facebook page, to our YouTube page where we also put up the show. Please subscribe, rate us on iTunes. That really helps us out. But yeah, just spread the word. We love doing this, and we love you guys that are listening.
Yes, and if you have anything you want us to talk about or bring up next week, let us know.
Yeah, don't forget to send us a message. Well, all right. It was awesome talking to you. See you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening, and don't forget to subscribe.